She comes in from the other room and goes, "Girls, stop it," in a super disciplinarian tone. I was like, so who are you talking to? Which girls are you talking to? Because you cannot possibly be talking to me and my sister. But that's what she would do. She would just talk to us like we were an idiot the entire weekend about actually everything. And I am still trying to be nice to the girl, okay, for my dad's sake. So I say, "Oh, we're just finishing up this movie and then we're gonna head to bed." And she said, "No, that's not what I said. I said it's time for bed right now. It's time for the adults to be awake right now and have some adult time without the kids around." I sat silent too long. It was time I got revenge. For this revenge, I knew I needed an ally, and I love my little sister. She wasn't the ally I needed, because my dad and her dad are the same age. Her dad is the same age as my dad. She's the same age as me. Seems like the perfect ally. So I do it. I send a Facebook message to my dad's girlfriend's dad. And that's when my dad's girlfriend comes out from the other room and is like, "Dad, what are you doing here?" And then she looks at my dad. She's like, "Did you invite my dad to dinner?" And all the color drains from my dad's face.
Welcome back to another episode of Clocked Out Conversations. I'm your host, Fahim, and today we got some more TikTok content. This is a story time about a woman whose father was dating a woman who was 2 years younger than her. I'm not here to waste your time. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and let's get into it.
My dad's 28-year-old girlfriend has started momming me. Now, maybe for a helpful reference, I'm 26 years old, so this woman is only 2 years older than me. And when my dad first introduced her to the entire family, he said that she was 34, but I internet sleuthed that because she did not look that old. I was like, I need to know who does your Botox, because if you're really 34, you look great. And yeah, she wasn't 34. Actually, the first time I met this woman, she was only 24 years old and I was 22. Her and my dad dated and then they broke up for 2 years, and I thought that was the end of her. I was never going to see that woman again. Thank goodness. But no, guess who turned up at my Thanksgiving dinner this year? Unannounced, unexpected, my sister. I mean, like stepmom, I don't know. Obviously, it's always been a little bit of a weird dynamic between the two of us because
I actually just thought about this. So, even though the woman is 2 years younger than her, if she married the father, wouldn't that technically become her stepmom? So she'd have a stepmother that's 2 years younger than herself. That's freaky. Let's get back into it.
she's practically my age and dating my father, but we've always managed to just get away with some polite small talk. I've never really tried to get to know her much. Can you blame me? And normally she just minds her own business. She just kind of stays near my dad and knows the situation is weird. But that all changed during our family vacation this weekend. My dad, my sister, and I always go to his cabin one weekend out of the year just to hang out, catch up. It's a cute little family tradition. But imagine my surprise when I pulled up and I saw none other than my dad's girlfriend. It grosses me out to even say that, considering the age. There. Like, we didn't get any warning. None. He did not tell us she was coming. And honestly, if he wanted to bring her, fine. That's his choice. He can do whatever he wants. But at least let us know so you don't just blindside us. And let's be honest, I could never imagine this woman spending an entire weekend in the woods. She's basically my dad's sugar baby. He does every single thing for her, pays all of her bills. He buys her everything that she wants. She only wears designer things, drives a really nice car that my dad bought. My dad never bought my sister and I a car nearly that nice. She basically lives this life of luxury on my dad's dime. That girl looked like a baby deer getting out of the car and trying to walk over all of the dirt and the leaves in her Louboutins. Like, girly, I love Louboutins, but there's a time and a place for those, and a cabin in the woods is not that time or that place. And immediately, like right when we get inside the cabin, she starts being really weird and just making it clear that my sister and I are from totally different generations than her. For example, she was explaining to us what Vine was. She was like, back in my day when we had Vine and not TikTok, it was the best. I wish you had a chance to experience it. I was like, yeah, I mean, I did experience it. I had Vine. We're the same age. Then later, my sister and I were just making fun of each other, as sisters do, poking fun at each other, laughing, having a good time. She comes in from the other room and goes, "Girls, stop it," in a super like disciplinarian tone. I was like, so who are you talking to? Which girls are you talking to? Because you cannot possibly be talking to me and my sister. I guess she thought my sister and I were in a fight or something, but we could not even help it. We burst out laughing. It was absolutely ridiculous. She was acting like we were 7-year-olds fighting over a toy or something. Then, when my sister is going to take a shower, she practically body slams her out of the way and is like, wait, before you shower, let me explain to you how the shower works, because it can be really confusing. This is our family cabin that we've lived in for weekends at a time for years since we were little girls, and we know how the shower works. But that's what she would do. She would just talk to us like we were an idiot the entire weekend about actually everything. She made it seem like we were 7 years old and didn't know how anything would work. She also kept referring to my sister and I as the girls. Like, don't the girls just look so cute tonight? Always cute. Never pretty, beautiful, anything. Cute.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. She is overblowing that stepmother role. Why is she acting like she is their mother, like their biological mom, especially considering she is 2 years younger than them? You know, it's already weird in general that you just came out the blue. I'm putting myself in her position. You're my dad's girlfriend, and you just came out of the blue, and you're talking like, you know, you're some authority over us. Oh, Lord. Let's keep going.
Girls look cute tonight. Look. The craziest thing that she did, and what got us into a fight, is when my sister and I were watching a movie at about 10:30 p.m. on Saturday night. And she waltzes into the living room and says, okay, girls, it's time for bed. Time for bed? Since when did I have a bedtime? And I am still trying to be nice to the girl, okay, for my dad's sake. So I say, oh, we're just finishing up this movie and then we're going to head to bed. And she said, no, that's not what I said. I said it's time for bed right now. It's time for the adults to be awake right now and have some adult time without the kids around.
She is tweaking, indubitably. She's tweaking, indubitably. No, she is wilding out with all of these commands and stuff, bro. There definitely would have been a fight. There definitely would have been a scuffle. There would have been a problem. I don't know who she thinks she talked to. Let's keep on going.
Adults, the kids, you're 2 years older than me. You were dating my dad when you were younger than me. But I lose it at this point. I look at her and I say, you can play house, you can leech off my dad, but don't come in here and patronize me and my sister. I told her, I do not want to be in a fight with you, and I promise you, that is not a fight that you want to pick or that you would win. She goes right off crying to my dad about how mean I was to her. Like, girl, I have been nice to you for years, even though the situation is weird. So you should be lucky this is the first time I actually went at you. I don't know what to do at this point because it seems like ignoring her isn't an option anymore. My dad's 28-year-old girlfriend is trying to mom me, and it's time I get revenge. If you haven't seen part 1 to this story, go watch that and then come back because you gotta see how this woman behaves, okay? It's unreal. After all the craziness of the cabin weekend, I knew that I needed to talk to my dad about the situation because I could not sit silent on this. And my dad is a very reasonable man, or so I thought he was, and I knew that talking to him would be the best course of action. So I sat down with him and I told him all of my concerns. I told him all of the things that she did over the weekend that just made me feel uncomfortable. Told him, listen, it's your life. I'm not telling you who to date or how to live your life, but you have to understand why this is uncomfortable for me. And my dad, being the logical man he was, said, wow, I'm really sorry, Kels. I didn't know that you felt that way. Let me talk to my girlfriend and, maybe we'll set some boundaries. I thought this was going to be a great solution, but it wasn't, because I got a very angry, aggressive phone call. Now, my dad's girlfriend has never raised her voice at me. She's always been pretty soft-spoken, but on this call, she was going off. She is screaming at me on the phone saying, how dare you meddle in my relationship? I can't believe how immature you are. This is disgusting. You need to get your own life. This has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with me. I was actually just talking about a situation I was directly involved in and how that situation that I was directly involved in made me uncomfortable. So it actually has to do with me entirely. It's all about how I feel about something that happened to me. But hey, I know when to pick my battles, and this woman was going completely off the wall at me, just screaming at me, calling me names, telling me how terrible of a daughter I was, how terrible of a person I was, and I knew nothing I said was going to make the situation any better. So literally, the only thing I was saying on this call was, I'm really sorry that my actions and what I said to my dad made you feel that way. That was not my intention. That's it. That's all I said.
She couldn't get an apology out of me. To hell with you and to hell with your happiness. I'm not, oh hell no. What the reality what's going on here is she laying that punani on her pops. That's what's going on. And that punani, that young tenderloin got him in a chokehold. That's what's really going on. And she trying to keep them out of their relationship as best as possible, because these young girls, his daughters, they know what's going on. They know that he is being manipulated by that girl's punani. They know that. And so them being in the loop and them informing him of that is going to cause him to push her away. And so she got to finagle a way out to make sure that they can't do that. So now she like, man, get out of my relationship. Get out of my relationship. Oh, that's my father. What you talking about? What you talking about? Man, let's keep on going.
Did I have a lot of choice words for the girlie that I ended up journaling later? Yeah, I did, but I didn't say those to her. You know why? Because I'm mature. Because I'm 26 years old, and you would think her being 28, so much older and more mature than me, that she could also be polite on the phone with me. But no, she was actually tearing me apart, top to bottom, everything about me. Then she ends the phone call with, and you better watch out, because if there's only room for one of us in your father's life, we all know who he's going to choose. I was like, yeah. Me. I'm his daughter. He's gonna choose me. And the last thing she says to me on the phone is, you better watch out, because this is not a fight that you're gonna be able to win. And then just hangs up. Okay, no goodbye. No, have a nice week. Hope to see you soon. Oh, that didn't happen. I think after that, it's over. I don't have to deal with her until the next time I see her. But tell me why. Not 10 minutes after I get off the phone with her, I get a call from my dad, who's furious with me. My dad has never yelled at me, and my dad was on the phone screaming. He tells me, why did my girlfriend just call me sobbing, saying that you called her, attacking her, saying these horrible things about her, just yelling at her on the phone for over an hour. What? Tell me, who did that? Because it's...
You see what that punani could do? She ain't never been yelled at by her pops before. Now all of a sudden she getting yelled at. You see, that woman is doing exactly as I proclaimed. Let's keep on going.
Sounds like she's reversing the roles. I just sat there silently while she tore me apart. And guess what? I wasn't even going to say anything to my dad about it because I didn't want the drama. But she's lying. She's lying. She said that I told her on the phone that I'm going to do everything in my power to break up their relationship and ruin her life. Like, girl, what script are you getting this out of? Also, I do not have enough time to do that. Like, I'm busy. I told my dad, listen, I did not say anything remotely similar to that. Actually, she was screaming at me for almost an hour while I sat silently. So you're getting the wrong story. And my dad says, Kels, why would she lie to me? And without thinking, I just say, I don't know, probably because she's unstable. Then my dad freaks out again. He's like, see, like, you can't talk about her like that, like, blah, 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 blah. I was like, you asked a question. Like, she lied, okay? You heard me just say that. I did say that about her. She does seem very unstable. But I did not yell at the girl on the phone, okay? She's lying about that. Yeah, you asked why, I told you. My dad finished the call by saying that my sister and I and my dad and his little girlfriend all have to do a nice family dinner next week where we have to be on our best behavior and all get along. Okay, I can be on my best behavior, but clearly that woman can't be. Right after my dad hung up, I got a text from his little girlfriend. It was just the angel emoji. That's it. And I knew what it meant. I knew it was passive aggressive. I sat silent too long. It was time I got revenge. For this revenge, I knew I needed an ally, and I love my little sister. She wasn't the ally I needed. And I remember my dad saying that the hardest part about his relationship is that his girlfriend's dad doesn't approve because my dad and her dad are the same age. Her dad is the same age as my dad. She's the same age as me. Seems like the perfect ally. Oh, my dad was thrilled when he heard that I was bringing my new boyfriend to family dinner. He's not going to be so thrilled when he finds out who it is. My dad's 28-year-old girlfriend kept momming me, so I took matters into my own hands. If you haven't seen the previous parts of this story time, go watch those and come back because you need to hear about this woman, okay? She's whack. To catch everyone up, my dad's girlfriend, that's only 2 years older than me, started telling me what to do and trying to act like my parent. She told me I had a bedtime. I'm 26. And after I had a conversation with my dad about how it made me feel and he talked to her, she called me being absolutely insane on the phone, screaming at me, telling me I was a terrible person, but then lied to my dad and said I was the one screaming at her. She's a liar. And after all of that and her literally trying to ruin my dad and I's relationship, when my dad said that we were going to have family dinner so that we could all get along, I knew there was absolutely no way that I wasn't going to be the pettiest person possible. Now listen, I don't know anything about my dad's girlfriend, and I definitely don't know anything about her family life because I never cared to ask her. You know, I kind of thought it was going to be a fleeting relationship, didn't think she was going to stick around for as long as she did. But I had heard her and my dad talk about the fact that her dad hated the relationship. So I needed to talk to this man. Now, again, I don't know anything about her family life, so I had no idea if her parents were still together. But I easily found her dad's Facebook through looking through her friends. And in very dad fashion, his relationship status was divorced. Why? Why did he do that? Why is that even an option to put? I don't know. But it was very helpful in this instance. So I do it. I send a Facebook message to my dad's girlfriend's dad, and I ask him if he wanted to go through with a little plan for me that I think could be mutually beneficial for both of us. And to my surprise, within 10 minutes, he responded to me. No questions asked, he was in. When I showed up to family dinner, holding hands with none other than my dad's girlfriend's dad, it was a scene. Now, my dad actually didn't know who the guy was at first, so he just sees that I'm walking in with a man that's my dad's age, and he was just clearly taken aback. He was like, Kelsey, who is this? This isn't your boyfriend, right? And that's when my dad's girlfriend comes out from the other room and is like, Dad, what are you doing here? And then she looks at my dad, she's like, did you invite my dad to dinner? And all the color drains from my dad's face. My dad looks at me and is like, Kels, this isn't funny. This isn't a funny joke. I know what you're doing. This isn't funny. But let me tell you, I deserve an Oscar for the performance I put on because I just made the most shocked face. I was like, wait, is this your daughter? No, this is your daughter. I made it seem like I had no idea who that man was, that I had no idea that he was my dad's girlfriend's dad. I said, I knew he had a daughter around my age, but we've only been dating a few weeks, so we haven't gotten that deep into things. I mean, obviously, in real life, if I was dating a man, I would have seen a photo of his daughter, but for some reason, they bought it. They bought my Oscar-winning performance. I fully didn't even tell my little sister about this plan, so she's just watching the entire thing from the kitchen table, like, and I don't know if my dad's girlfriend's dad did community theater or something growing up because he was putting on a performance of a lifetime too. He was like, this is really weird. I feel like I should just go. Like, I had no idea that this was your daughter and your family. I wouldn't have gotten involved in that situation. I wouldn't have come tonight. I was like, sir, where is this performance coming from? I thought that you were just gonna have to be quiet while I was doing all the hard work, but you are carrying your own. My dad's girlfriend is saying, Dad, what the heck? She's literally my age, Dad. What are you doing? And my dad is like, you need to stay away from my daughter. You're way too old for, too old. He's actually 2 years younger than my dad. So the age gap between me and him and my dad and his girlfriend are actually the exact same age gap. And I pointed that out to everybody. My dad looks at me and he goes, is this out of spite? Did you start dating an older man out of spite? I said, no, absolutely not. You know, I've been having a lot of trouble dating guys my own age, and I saw how great your relationship with your girlfriend is, and I thought, wow, maybe that's what I need. Maybe I just need a guy my dad's age to be in a healthy relationship. My dad's girlfriend looks like she's about to puke, and I just look at her and go, it's kind of fun, right? It's like wife swap, but with dads. She didn't like that joke. I thought it was funny. My dad looks at his girlfriend and his girlfriend's dad and is like, I think it's probably best if you two go. We need to figure this out as a family. And I'm fake enraged. I'm like, Dad, You cannot kick my boyfriend out. And again, this man should win an Oscar. He looks at me and goes, babe, it's okay. I think that it's probably for the best. I'm going to talk to my daughter. Neither of us expected the situation to turn into what it did tonight. Yeah, we did. We 100% expected exactly for the situation to turn out the way it did. As soon as that front door closed, my dad was screaming at me. He was, I can't believe this, Kels. How could you do this? This is such a bad decision. And I just let him vent and vent and vent until I finally say, I don't know, Dad. You've always been my moral compass. So if you're in a relationship like that, I just don't understand how it could be wrong. And that hit him where it hurt. I feel like finally at that moment, he realized how weird this situation was. And I think he gave himself the ick a little bit. He just looked at my sister and I and said, girls, I need to go to bed. Obviously, since I'm so upset with my father for not supporting my relationship, we haven't talked much. But I heard from my sister that the trip to Hawaii that him and his girlfriend were supposed to go on, it got canceled. So sad. And if this stunt wasn't enough to open my dad's eyes and realize that this relationship is completely inappropriate, I'm sure I can think of other ways.
So, what do you guys think about this story time? I think that the pops got what he deserved. I mean, honestly, you got with a woman who is sitting here causing all kinds of problems with your daughters. And, I mean, sitting there acting as if she's the parent, as if she's the biological mom, sitting there giving them bedtimes, sitting there talking down to them. Like, who the hell do you think you are, bro? You just came here. You just got here. Who do you think you are? You over here telling me when to shower, how to shower, when to go to sleep, how to go to sleep? Man, who are you? Come on now, let's not play these games. And I think it is fantastical that she went and got that girl's dad, who just so happened to have the same age gap that her father had with his girlfriend, and they ended up confronting them about it. I think that that was amazing, and I think that that was the purest form of showing the father just how wrong he was in this situation. But what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys think that she did what she was supposed to do in order to get her father separated from that girl that seemed to be taking advantage of him to an extent? Or do you guys think that she shouldn't have done that and left her father alone in the relationship that he formed and faceted on his own? Thank you for tuning into this Clocked Out Conversation. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.